to Shoshana Shia from Creations from Jerusalem, and in this video I wanted to share a thought of what happens when you try to do 30 days of sketching each day. In my case, it led to more sketching and the desire to turn my treatment room into an art studio. So I have a couple of images that I could share if you're interested in seeing some of the drawings that I initially was doing towards one of the workbooks that I'm working on. This particular little notebook that I came across, this was before I started creating my own little journals and notebooks. It's in one of the boxes that I've just been organizing behind me, and as I put it down and I was flipping through as I put it into the container that I've got a couple of notebooks in, I was flipping through it and remembering, this was quite a fun exercise. Perhaps I'll share a little bit and talk about a little bit of my nervousness, my difficulty in opening up to the fact that really my desire before starting to do any career at all, my desire was really to be an artist. And it's a bit of a story as to how I got to be an occupational therapist instead. But now looking at doing a number of workbooks, I found myself wanting to improve some of my skills so that I could illustrate one of the workbooks myself, which in speaking to a colleague of mine, she very quickly said to me, why settle for one workbook? This topic should be a series. So I started doing 30 days of sketching to improve some of my drawings, and some of the reason for that was because there are a couple of people that I'm going to be putting into this workbook. So this was one of the first drawings. It's not a person, but you can see clearly enough that's a rose, and for various reasons, if you know the translation of Shoshana is rose, so it's understandable that would have been one of the earlier images that I drew. I then started, before I got to do some more figure drawing, I did a couple of webinars, followed a few tutorials of videos of drawing comic type of images. That was a little bit of fun. It's another one that I did from a tutorial. And here you can see learning drawing a sphere. That was copying an image that came up in a different tutorial. And here is getting the proportions correct for a face. There's a lot of details involved, and it's really interesting to go back to learning some of the theory in the background to drawing, and to realize that anatomy and physiology and so on are not topics that are unique to the medical profession. Actually, if you're going to be doing any art, there's a lot of anatomy that one needs to learn in order to draw appropriately and correctly. Even just in learning the different details of the facial features, in this case it was a nose, one really needs to look at what are the shapes that go into that build up the facial features, the circles, the triangles, the different positions of the facial features. Here I was starting to draw a car, which for various reasons will be coming into one of my workbooks. And as I say, after spending 30 days of doing in some stages it was more abstract drawings. Here's another flower. Another flower that I did. Hoping to come to some more flowers. That's a person that I was drawing, also from a tutorial. And there's another one of the drawing of pets. I'm putting in a dog instead of a cat. And as I say, the outcome of spending 30 days drawing was that I wanted to keep on drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. and so I've got, to a certain extent, sidetracked, but it's not completely sidetracked, in making major changes. Part of that is thanks to all the various lockdowns and looking at how I could be earning online instead of working in person, to move all my work online, and hence one of the motivators, although I was already working towards doing books, workbooks and journals. I then came to adding in my art. We do have a number of creative gifts that we're selling on my online store, and that raises the topic of another video, which I'll get to another time. In the meantime, I say stay tuned for finding out more about my online store, which really is a gift store that's been put online, and I'll share one or two thoughts about that. But I thought I'd just share a couple of these first initial sketches that I did in getting back into drawing, and share the fun process that's been taking place. From there, I got to draw on my fax paper, which I've now, the roll of fax paper that I've now completed doing. I then have some other sketchbooks and pieces of paper that I've drawn on, and all sorts of things in the pipeline. And from there, we've got to be learning to start converting to drawing on a graphics tablet, and taking that through to learning Photopea and Critter. All sorts of learning in the process, all sorts of fun progress, personal development happening, restructuring my room. As you see, the boxes are coming much better than they were. I didn't do videoing in this room for a while because there's been so much change and flux happening, transition happening in this room, that I'm at a later stage, maybe I'll get to show you a bit more. In the meantime, I hope that's been a fun entertainment for you. And if you're interested in sharing, have you done any of these 30 days of drawing? Would you want to be drawing together with me perhaps at some stage? I very much enjoy doing more abstract art, but part of that, actually, I picked up a tip looking at one of these videos just a few weeks ago. I was looking at some tips from an artist, and he shared that if you're wanting to get to become a professional artist, not to stick to one style of art because you don't have the skills, but rather to spend the time to improve your skills, which is exactly what I've been doing. And the truth is that how I got into doing abstract art was because at the time that I had one of the first times that I went on sick leave after having started working despite having a chronic illness, during the time that I was at home, to help with relaxation and to some stress management, some stress release, some way to get through my frustration of dealing with a chronic illness. And I could chat about that in a different video if you're interested. Was that I started to do some drawing, but I had a lot of pain in my eyes because I had an infection that I was having to heal from. And I was also out of touch from having done sketching after 4 years of doing a degree, during which time I didn't do a lot of my art. And then I don't remember how long it was after, it was probably during my first year of working. In any event, it had been at least 4 years that I hadn't done full-time sketching, and so I was a little bit out of touch. I wanted to improve on my realistic drawing, so I didn't do too much drawing at that stage because my my art I was using more just for relaxation and my own healing, and that sort of got me into abstract art, which I sort of was nervous to share too much until more recently, when I've got to see how much is happening online and to follow a couple of people who focus on abstract art, and that sort of has helped me to open up to the fact that yes, abstract art is one area that I very much enjoy, but also to admit that one of the reasons I got into abstract art was because my skills were, I was not happy with my skills in drawing and in painting, and now having done that 30 days of regular sketching, it has got me back to regularly drawing, and I'm very happy that I've started to do so. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you also got into doing 30 days of drawing, and what was the end result for you? Has it had a similar effect as it's had with me, that you're looking to how to change direction, how to pivot, how to get more into doing your art? I'd love to hear from you. What do you do when you do 30 days of art? What kind of effect has that had for you? So this is Shoshana Shea. You can check out my website if you'd like to on creationsfromjerusalem.com, and I'd be happy to hear your comments in the comments below, or you can be in touch with me via my website. Ciao for now. See you in the next video.